Hey guys, Gabe here, Big Man Comics Live. Welcome in, welcome in. We're just working on the Unstoppable Tyrus right now. I'm on page 98. I just got the final pencils from CAIN, the layout artist on this. What a great job he did. He got to page 125. You're going to love it. We stuck the landing. That's the most important part of any story that you see, is getting the getting the ending correct. You don't get the end of your story right, the whole story doesn't work. It falls apart because the whole story. Turn that volume off. The whole story was nothing but an argument. That's what stories are. They don't necessarily mean to be. It may not be your intention when you're thinking about it, but all art is persuasion. It's it persuades the mind on the subconscious that this is true. Whatever the song, movie, comic, whatever the artwork is, you're persuading or arguing that this concept is true. And if you don't nail your ending, then you don't deliver on the premise, right? That's that screenwriting thing, delivering on the promise of the premise. And we nailed it. I'm glad to say that we nailed this. So thank you all for the support, and we're just having a great time. You know, I live a dream life. You know, I really do. Last night was another great. That's my basset hound whining. That's Gene. He's the mascot of the show. You want to show them, Gene? Pick them up. Put them in camera. You have to put yourself in there. I know because you didn't know your makeup and everything.
I still have last night's makeup.
Okay, well, you can at least put Gene in the camera next to me. He can say hi, then he can get out of here. This is Gene Boy.
Let's see.
Back him up. Gene Boy. He's put his butthole in my face.
Here's Gene.
Okay, that's great. He's filthy. I love the dog, but he's filthy. That's Gene, my basset hound. He's a wonderful little guy. But, you know, he's a little jealous that he's not on camera, so he was over there crying in the corner. So, but I had last night was a great night of this dream career that you guys gave me. You know, it's like I always dreamed of working for Marvel and DC Comics, and I did that at the highest levels. You know, Superman, Batman, Star Wars, Wonder Woman, you name it, I've worked on it. Quite literally, everything famous I've worked on at a very high level, and I couldn't be happier now doing independent stuff. Had a great phone. Let me get to last night, and I'll get back to what I'm doing this was. Last night, I went up to Calabasas, which, for those of you that don't hear, let's just say I went to Los Angeles. It's northwest of Hollywood where I went, just by a few miles. And there was a theater there, and where my good friend and business partner for Dean Cain, All-American LAWMAN, Dean Cain himself, he had a premiere of the movie Little Angels that he wrote and directed and starred in, and it was fantastic. So we had a great night. We walked the red carpet. That was fun. It was just a really good time. Adrian, if you go down to Safari and click it and you open Twitter, you can then drag it to the right screen and show them the photos that are on my Twitter of the thing. Okay. It's not hard to do. Just let me know when you have all that open. But yeah, my wife and I, we drove up there. We left our house like at 10:30ish and got to Hollywood. We got to Calabasas. We got there around 1 o'clock. Went to this Jewish deli that was great. Really good. Got, you know, big brisket sandwiches. No, I got a French dip with roast beef. But it's one of those real Jewish delis where a little pricey, and they're making the brisket and the roast beef in-house. You know, and it was tasty. I saw it when we drove up near where we got a hotel because we didn't spend the night. I drove home last night at around 11. I got home by 1. I didn't want to spend the night because, you know, I only live 120 something miles away or something like that. And I didn't want to spend the night, and then I'd be driving right now. I'd be coming home from LA right now, and that would suck.
I have it up.
Okay, and did you drag it to the right screen, the second monitor?
Oh.
Drag it to the whole second monitor. Now examine it and make sure there's nothing on that screen that will dox me or you. Just give it. There shouldn't be, but like there's no DMs open. There's nothing on the screen.
No, but I'm going to close all the other windows.
Yes, of course. Yeah. So, so we drove up there to go see Dean at the thing, and we got a hotel because, like, where are you going to stay?
Shoot.
Where are you going to stay all day? And where are you going to get dressed and put, you know, my wife put her makeup on and this and that. And here's a fun one. Last year, and it was last year almost exactly, it was June, and it was mid-June. I went up to Santa Monica, let's just say LA. I went up to Santa Monica for my other Hollywood movie star friend, Matthew Marsden, right? Rambo, Black Hawk Down, all that good stuff. And he had a movie come out a year ago, and I went to that premiere with my wife. And you'll see how this ties into yesterday's adventure.
Excuse me.
I got a suit tailored. There's a wholesale suit place here in San Diego. I've seen commercials for it since I was a little kid. The Men's Fashion Depot. The guy was a South African, and he would do these commercials that he would star in, and he owned it. We ripped the label off, saving you hundreds of dollars. And they do nice suits there. My buddy got us a groomsmen's suits there for his wedding. And you go in there, and it's a real like tailor. They measure you with the chalk and the measuring strips, and then they cut and tailor and all. I got a tailored suit to go to Matthew Marsden's premiere a year ago. We leave San Diego. We drive up to Santa Monica, like 2.5 hours. We get a hotel. This is a year ago, last June. We get a hotel, lunch. My wife gets a makeover at the beauty store, blah, blah, blah. An hour and a half before Matthew's movie premiere at 7 p.m., it's like 5:30. I get everything out of the trunk and go into the hotel room with my wife to get ready, do her hair, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, hey, where's my suit? My brand new Men's Fashion Depot tailored suit. And it was here at this house in San Diego. And I was in Santa Monica. You cannot drive from Santa Monica to my house in an hour and a half and back. You could drive from Santa Monica to my house and back in maybe 4 to 6 hours. And during traffic, maybe longer. So I'm like, oh my God, I failed my friend. I promised him I'd come to this premiere, support him. And I'm wearing like a shitty t-shirt and shorts. Like I can't show up like a slob. And then what? So my choices are show up as a slob, embarrass my friend at his big night, or don't go. Ooh, can't do that either. So we prayed about it real quick, jumped on our phones, did a search. There was a Men's Warehouse, not a Men's Fashion Depot, a Men's Warehouse 1 mile from our hotel on the same side of the road. You got to know about LA. You don't even want to make a left in LA during traffic. It's a pain in the ass. So I just drove out of the hotel driveway, drove 1 mile down the road. I'm on the phone in the car on the 1 mile drive. Hello, this is Ali. He was like some Persian kid who was like 21 years old. He was like the only one there at the Fashion Depot or Men's Warehouse. And I'm like, I'm 6'4", I'm 260 pounds, I have 7-foot wingspan. I need a black suit. And he's like, okay, we got this, we got that. I go in there. It was like such a blessing. I feel like such answered prayer. A beautiful Calvin Klein suit with the trimmed in waist. And you guys know I've lost a lot of weight, so I can wear the trimmed in waist now. And those of you that don't know, when you buy a suit, the bottom of the pant is just loose and it needs to be cut and sewn and all that to match you. But he said that the companies have now been pre-tailoring the hemming the ankles on the bottom of the suit. And this was hemmed at the exact length I needed. So I bought a Calvin Klein suit, pants, a new white shirt, a black belt, a black hat. The only thing we had remembered to bring to San Diego was my shoes. We brought shoes and socks.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, because I wear size 15, maybe 16, depending on the brand. Where the hell am I going to find shoes? That would have been so much harder. So I get back to the hotel like half an hour later. My wife's almost dressed, and I tell her, well, that was a $600 mistake. So I fail that to say this about yesterday. We drive up to Calabasas. We're ready to go see Dean, support him, this great movie. And I'll tell you more about Dean's, his fortitude, being resolute about this movie. Because this movie's years in the making. It was $600 mistake. So now I have a brand new tailor suit, which I've never worn to this day. And I've worn the Calvin Klein suit a few times. So we're going to Calabasas to Dean's movie tomorrow, 1 year later. It's a chance to get things right and not make the same mistake I made last year. But my wife is always in charge of packing because that's what they do. And she packs my suit. We make sure we have everything. This very nice black Calvin Klein suit. We get there yesterday and going to go in the hotel room, get ready, do some stuff. And she asked me if I am wearing a belt, which I don't usually ever do. I don't wear a belt. So I did not remember to bring a belt. So I had to go to different places at a nearby shopping center. I went to a women's fashion store, Chico's, because it's the only place. And yeah, they were a little too fancy. Big, curvy golden buckle with like rivets all down the belt and glittery silver something or other. And
None the miser says we want to see the belt Gabe bought at Chico's.
I got a $20 belt at the Nordstrom rack like 5 miles away. No, there's no good punchline on the belt story. I did not get a ladies glittery belt. So sorry. I did not cross-dress my belt yesterday. But I was going to get a belt from Chico's. If they just had a regular black square belt, I would have done it. And it would have been my ladies belt. So, but yeah, I went in there and they're like, oh, we have belts. And I go over to the rack on the wall. And it's just the fanciest shit with like lady stuff. It's got frill on it and all these little patterns and things. Like, I cannot wear that. Are you out of your mind?
It would have been a great story though
Nope,
if you
it
if
would not
you
have been a
did.
great story. So my wife failed in bringing my belt. That's her fault.
I did forget it.
But we didn't fight about it because that's stupid.
Antonia said asked how much was the Calvin Klein suit, but you said it. You
It was a
answered it.
$600 mistake.
You-
But I could not fail my friend. Listen, I couldn't show up in a t-shirt and I couldn't not show up.
You
It's my
answered.
bad.
You answered his question, but I want to know because I don't remember how much was the first suit.
The first suit was, well, that's the men's fashion depot. It was like $300 or $400.
So all told, it was about $900 or $1,000
So
for two suits in 1 week after not having bought one in about 20 years.
right. So I say all that to say this, guys. I need $900 in super chats right now. So whoever wants to send that in for the suit fund, for the woman's belt fund. You know, if you guys send enough money, I will buy a woman's belt.
From Chico's.
Yeah, from Chico's. By the way, could Chico's have like a more perfect name? You know, if you're a man and you're gonna buy some ladies' fashion, I think you want to buy it at a place called Chico's. Like, that's so nice. Where'd you get it? Chico's. Like of course it's called Chico's. It could not have been called anything else.
Antonia 707 said if you got the rhinestone belt, people would have thought you're Mexican.
It wasn't that kind of right.
But he's right. Those caballeros like their
Oh.
rhinestone.
Okay, so now you there's the, like at the very bottom there's like plus and like share screen and all that.
Yep.
You see it?
Mhm.
Click on it and some options are gonna come up. What do you got there?
Share screen.
That doesn't ring a bell. Hold on, guys. I have to move out
I have
because I don't need her to do something stupid here. So I don't need doxing. Hold on. Okay. Give me the mouse. So you're gonna present.
Oh.
Present, share screen, and then it picks Chrome tab, window, entire screen, that screen, share. And you checked that out already?
Well, is that how
You checked it out already?
Yes, but is
Okay.
that how you normally have it set up?
Look it. Yes. So you see these down here? That's just the head. That's me. That's, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
this is now me with screen. That's what
Okay.
that means. So then you can show people like the pictures. That's all. That's all I was doing.
Okay.
So then you can click on the picture just like you regular. And that's just, you can show them. Because it's one thing to tell them, it's a whole other thing to show them.
All right.
There you go. Ah, so where were we? And then you close it by just those heads and those little diagrams.
Putting
You
you
just
back.
click the head on the left.
Okay.
Try it and then go back. And then try the one that has the screen and the heads. There you go.
Yay.
Okay, and then you can scroll that. Move the mouse over to the Twitter side and close that big picture and then scroll it to show. And then you can, yeah. So that was that's the $600 Calvin Klein suit off the rack. It's good. And there's it's funny when we parked the car and started walking up to the theater. Dean had just got out of a car and he was walking up at the exact same time because it was a little hard to get some alone time and talk because, you know, there's a zillion people there, all his other business partners, the other actors, producers, family, friends. It was a great night. Everyone was in such a good mood. The movie was good. The movie was funny. And Dean, he already proved years ago he can write. He wrote episodes of Superman. I think he wrote one or two that got Emmy nominated. I remember that. So, you know, he's a smart guy. He went to Princeton back before it was woke. You know, so I was, but let's talk about being resolute. So when I met Dean, we became friends the end of 2021. I met him in 2022. He had come to San Diego to film a movie and said, okay, let's meet. Let's have dinner. You know, we talked a little bit. Let's move it to the next phase of our relationship. So we met at a great steakhouse in downtown San Diego, he and I and my wife, and we shut the place down. We were there for 4 or 5 hours, and we were there after they closed just talking and laughing, and it was like meeting a new old friend, you know what I mean? Like we just became friends really fast. And he had mentioned this movie, that it was something that he had, I think, made at the start of the lockdown or had been started working on, and he was trying to get it distributed, because the way it can work in Hollywood, if it's not the big studio system, is you make a movie and then you're like trying to get a deal with the distributor. Like, okay, so-and-so makes a movie. Let's see if Sony will get it or Fox or whoever will get it, and then they'll distribute it. And of course, they're going to get a big chunk of money for doing that. and he was trying to get this movie distributed, and it wasn't working. So this is 2022, and he's talked to me off and on about this movie for a few years, like, oh, we've got a deal, almost, we've got a deal, and then it falls through. So I felt bad for the guy. It's a passion project, something he loved. I remember last year it was the Women's World Cup or the Women's Olympic Soccer, something would have been perfect, like synergy marketing kind of thing. And I think he almost had a deal going at that time, and he was telling me about it. Oh, it's going to be perfect. We'll get it out around the Women's World Cup. You know, if the American women do good in the World Cup, and then you have this movie about girls playing soccer, that would have been great for business. And then that fell through, and I was just like, oh man. And it was like 3 years of him trying to make deals on this, and he stuck to it, man. And that's tough. It's a lot of, for those of you that don't work in entertainment, which is probably all of you, there's a lot of what my wife and I call pillow talk in this business. And when you're at conventions or cocktail parties or whatever, some people like to talk real big. And they promise you the moon and the stars and funding, and we're going to do this, or I'm going to pay you that. And it's all great. And then you never hear from them again. Business cards, email addresses, phone numbers, all this stuff. And I don't think it's malicious always. I just think people get caught up in the moment, and it's like fun to talk about all this stuff that we may or may not do. And then it doesn't fall through. So that probably happened to Dean to some extent. He did not tell me that happened, but working in this business long enough, I know that goes on, that people do that. They're just, they kind of say things maybe they shouldn't, or it's wishful thinking. And then it's kind of disappointing. So I've learned not to get my hopes up on things until the check's clear, So, yeah, it was a great time. It was a great time. But, we watched the movie. It was fun. It was heartfelt. All the little girls that played the soccer players were there, but now they're 3 years older. So, like, one of them was already in college. The rest were, like, in high school. Because I think they were all basically, like, middle schoolers, when they filmed it 3-4 years ago. Yeah, but what gave me, a little bit of chill almost is after the final shot and the screen goes black, and then it says, written and directed by Dean Cain. It just fills the screen with that. And I was just so proud of the guy. Because I know him, and I completely relate to him insofar as our careers. To be an entertainer is one of the most competitive things in the world because it is a really fun job. For those of you that don't do it and you wonder what it's like, it's amazing. Because I've had regular jobs, and I hated it. And I know a lot of you hate to wake up, or you have to beg for a vacation, and this, that. And that's none of my reality, and it's such a privilege. It's such an amazing thing to live this way. And that's why it's so competitive. You get to do what you love, make a good amount of money, and you don't have to be miserable. Some jackass boss, your break was over 2 minutes ago, like talking to you like you're a child or something. And so this is very competitive. And to walk away from that mainstream that Dean did, by speaking out the way he has, he knows that he has limited his opportunities to some degree. Hollywood still likes him. He was on a Showtime television show last year with who's the redheaded girl from La La Land with the raspy voice, and Nathan Fielder.
Is it Emma Watson?
I don't know her name. No, I think Emma Watson was Harry Potter's girl or something like that. I don't know. Everyone knows who she is. She's a redheaded gal with the raspy voice. He was on the show. That's mainstream. That's Showtime. And so Hollywood still has him on things. He does a ton of stuff on the CW. He does his Masters of Illusion show. But you know what I mean. He was in movies with Denzel, this and that. I'm sure he'll do that stuff again. But there's a thing against him somewhat by some assholes that don't like his politics. Imagine hating someone because they love their country. That's so dumb. Even if he is wrong about things or I'm wrong about things, that's so dumb to exclude people just because you don't have the right thoughts. And, But so to see someone like him who's made the same sacrifice I made, since I was a little boy, I wanted to work for Jim Lee. I worked so hard and got so good at this that Jim Lee himself is the one who hired me. For those of you that don't know, I didn't get hired just by DC Comics. Jim Lee personally handpicked me. And what an honor to think that one of the greatest comic artists of all time, who I just respect his skill and status and achievement so much, thinks I'm good enough to do this. That's a lot of legitimate validation, about how hard I worked. And to walk away from that, when they want to start doing weirdo, hey, Superman has an underage son. Why don't we explore his gay bisexuality in the comics? And I'm like, cool. Why don't you do that without me? I think that's a cool idea to do without me. So, yeah. Oh, and you're getting rid of his patriotic slogan and heritage. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. So I relate to Dean on the grief is too strong of a word, but it is sad to give up on these things. Like to say I don't miss the concept of working on Batman and DC Comics. I do miss it. Of course I do. I earned that. That is so fucking hard to do. You ask my wife what she has seen me do since we were teenagers, and she knew me in high school, early in our marriage, when we were always check to check living. I'm a delivery truck driver, a cardboard box factory, a janitor, mopping up, vomit and homeless people shit behind a shopping center. Just the jobs I've had, the jobs she've had. How hard. That's why I fucking resent when people say it's talent. You could draw, right? You could do art because it's talent. Fuck you. You have no idea how miserable it was sometimes. There is such a thing as talent. That is not why anyone is doing this. So yeah, I relate to Dean on giving up so much to be principled, to stand on his principles. I really do. I relate to that, and I couldn't respect it more. So I'm very proud of him to make something worthwhile, wholesome, the kind of entertainment I'm always talking about making. I say we need Frank Capra's Hollywood, right? We do. We need Frank Capra's Hollywood. That is the director of It's a Wonderful Life. That's what we need. Stuff that is super well made. Because that's a problem. Let's call a spade a spade. That's the problem with a lot of like anti-woke conservative entertainment. It's low quality. And it comes from a culture of conservatives, a lot of Christians too. You got to call out your own. I am a Christian, being against music and movies and all that. So they don't raise children in it because it's dirty. That's dirty liberal Hollywood people. So then they don't take the decades to raise their kids to have the correct artistic skill, which, as you know, is world-class skill if you want to work at that level. So then they make the anti-woke, religious, adjacent, or whatever stuff, and it sucks. And I would tell that, if you really love God and want to help people, the Bible says, do your work as unto the Lord. So when I make a comment, I am making it for God. I'm making it for me and the audience, all that. But I need to make it with my best ability, my best effort. I don't need to do things halfway and lazy and cheap and not get better at drawing, not get better at writing. I will study drawing and writing until the day I die. I'm never going to quit learning new technique. I told you, like Aikion, the layout artist on this, he's my mentor. We talk about stuff all the time. I was just asking him the other day about how to draw better in regards to mentality. For those of you that don't draw, the number one, and this goes for all arts, this goes for every discipline in life. The number one thing that holds you back as an illustrator is impatience. Once you learn anatomy, perspective, how to move a pencil with your fingers or a paintbrush and all that, the only thing standing between you and great work, the best work you're ever going to do, is your mental impatience. It's an emotional thing. It's an emotion of, I want to see this finished drawing now. I want to look at my amazing creation now and feel the joy and the dopamine I feel from looking at my great work. And I was asking Aki, I'm like, how do you do that, dude? Because I struggle with that. I'll start working on something, blah, blah, blah. And then I want to get to the end and see it. And he says he feels it. Every artist feels it. And what he says, he does breath work. He's not a liberal. He's not a leftist. He's not a hippie. He's actually very based in conservative Aikion. So don't take the breath work the wrong way. But I do. I learned about it too. And like the whole, I won't go into explain, but the whole box breathing and all that, it really does. The whole vagal nervous system and the fight or flight response, all that nervousness stuff you have, the breathing work, look into it yourself. It really does help. Praying, being mindful, setting the right objective in your head of what do I want to be, what do I want to accomplish. But I'm telling you, the impatience, the greediness to see that beautiful drawing, you have to fight that. I was talking to my wife last night, like the final boss for all of us, our hardest opponent in life for every last one of us is ourselves. All our fears, the lies we tell ourselves, rationalizations, all kinds of stuff. That is the final boss for all of us. You conquer yourself, you can conquer anything. So we got anything in the chat? We got anyone here? Guys, hit the like, hit the share. We're having a great time. Movie night was fun with the wife, taking a micro vacation to go up there.
Yeah. So Antonius, just along the lines of what you were talking about, art, he says, have you or will you venture into sculpting or any other medium?
Oh yeah, when you get an art degree at any school worth its salt, you do everything. I know how to do photography, printmaking. That's like carving into copper plates and rolling it through an actual printing press. I did clay sculpture and cast it into bronze. Like you do the whole process yourself. I got sick from the gas coming off the bronze, almost fainted. I was very busy in college. A wife, 2 small children, 3 jobs, and an honor student. I didn't sleep in college. And I'd have to class, work, home, blah, blah, football coach, soccer coach. I was just 23 hours a day doing something. And when you do a bronze sculpture, you make it in clay or wax, and then you coat it in like you could coat it in plaster. Oh, you make it in clay, then you coat the clay in plaster. Plaster's like feels like white chalk. You coat it in plaster, right? And then when the plaster is there, you pull the plaster in half. You set it up at the start so you can pull it in half. You put these things in the middle. You pull the plaster in half. Just pull all the clay out. You clean the clay out. Now you have a void. You have a reverse of your sculpture. Then you take that and you pour melted wax into it, right? And when you pour the melted wax into it, you then take the wax and you take it out of the plaster and you clean it if there's any funny details that got messed up. Then the wax is your final sculpture. And then you take the wax and you start dipping it in like a ceramic and like a powdery, sandy, glassy thing. You dip it in that, and then you come back the next day, you dip it again, and you make a really thick, like stucco, sandy crust. Then you melt that, you get the wax out of that thing, and then you pour bronze inside the stucco thing, right? Molten bronze. Then when that cools off, you take a hammer and you bust off the crusty sand stucco. Then you have your bronze sculpture. So I've done that. Well, since I was so busy with 3 jobs, a marriage, kids, coaching, I was like go from class to work to home, and I ran to the school because these things take days and hours each step of the bronze sculpture. I ran to school to bust out my bronze sculpture out of the final crusty sand thing, and it wasn't cooled off yet. It had come out of the kiln where it was 1,000 or 2,000 degrees or whatever, and it'd come out of the hot. No. You pour the hot bronze in, and the bronze just cools off. And I pulled mine out, and it was still pretty hot and warm. And I started busting it with the hammer and all that to free this final sculpture. And I didn't notice at the time, but I was breathing up, I think, some of the gas. It was so hot, the metal, that there was probably some metal in the gas, the fumes. And I finished busting it out and all that and put it on the shelf or whatever. Going to go look at it tomorrow. And I'm walking in the car all like dizzy and drunk and almost fainted. But then I felt fine. I prayed about it and felt fine. I foolishly didn't go to the doctor or anything. But that's how that is. So yeah, that was a close one there. I think I slightly poisoned myself or something for a minute. So, but yeah, I've done everything you can think of in art. I can, anyone that knows me, anyone who works with me, I can do anything. If it's art and you need it done, I can do anything. Graphic design, typography. I'm a writer, a colorist, an illustrator. I do the letters in all our comics. Anything artistic, I can do it. And I've spent a life learning that stuff. So
He also did ceramics in high school and college.
Yeah.
I missed that one.
Right. Yeah, I did ceramics, pottery and all that. Yeah, everything.
Hunter Batista says, "Hey Gabe, thoughts on James Gunn removing the American way, replacing it with human way?"
That can't be true. Before I answer, tell me where I can see that's true.
I have no idea.
If that's true, that's just supremely stupid, isn't it? If that's what he did, then that's dumb. That's dumb. It's dumb and insulting. And if he hates America, he should fucking leave. If you can't pay respect to people who lived and died for you and gave you every last thing you are, you're a worm and you're ungrateful and an entitled child. So that better not be true.
I don't know if that's true.
I mean, it's not. It wouldn't surprise me at all, given their track record the last, couple of years.
I don't know. So earlier we had Jay Vasquez, Mighty Bot Studio, Yo Gabe.
Yo.
And Antonius 707, what up, Gabe? Miss C in chat. And
guys, everyone follow me on TikTok. I want to build an account there. I only have 3 followers. I've only posted like 3 videos, but you're gonna like TikTok is filled with shit like brain rot and stupid stuff, and not mine. Mine's gonna have a lot of great fun commentary and some videos about the projects and the art and all that. So you'll actually get a little bit of nutrition instead of just slop for your brain. You know my content. That's why you're here. That's why you sub here. So follow me on TikTok, and I will be an oasis in the wasteland that is TikTok.
Jim Bob says, greetings, y'all. And yeah, follow Gabe on TikTok.
Can you, Adrian, in my Twitter on the right screen, I posted a link to follow me on Twitter. Click on that link, go to the top of the search bar, go up. I posted it just recently. Way up. Click on down. Isn't that down? Isn't that it there?
Yeah, right here.
So click on it. Click on the link like you're going to follow me on there. Go to the top and copy the web address. And then paste it into our chat so people can follow me on TikTok. Everybody watching, you have to follow me on TikTok right now. I need you. I love you. You are part of Big Man Comics. I don't go to Dean Cain's premiere without you guys. I don't do this. I don't make these awesome. Look what I drew while we're sitting there talking. I don't do this without you. This is yours too. Now legally it all belongs to me. I'm the one that makes the money. But this is yours too. The success, it's yours. You are making this happen. I need you. I need you now tonight. That's the song, right?
Something like that.
I need you now tonight.
Oh yeah.
Right. I need you now this morning. It is morning in San Diego. And I need you to follow me on TikTok. So it's free and it's fun. So just follow me there. Let's grow it. Because you want and deserve and need good entertainment in your life. I promise you, the more you grow Big Man Comics, the more stuff you're going to get. Because if you think this is all we have, a couple ideas about graphic novels, you are sorely mistaken. We have all the ideas about everything, but we need you. It doesn't happen without you. So for only pennies a day, you can feed Big Man Comics. Really.
Right.
I should get some of those sad dogs with crusty eyes.
Just bring Gene back in.
Angel, fly away. Is that the words? I don't even know if that's real.
Yeah.
And the dog's like shaking, you know.
Remember Jay Moore would make fun of them.
Right. Yeah, we should bring Gene back in here. And we should like make him look real sad somehow.
He just looks sad.
He's like the friendliest dog in the universe.
Super friendly, but Basset Hounds always look sad.
Yeah,
it makes you feel bad, especially if you're eating.
Right, yeah. And he'll lie too. Straight up lie. Because I'll be in there having my lunch and I always feed him. I'm the guy ripping all the meat or bacon out of my sandwich. I always giving him bites because I like to do that. And then someone else will sit down to eat or whatever, 5 minutes there, and he's there crying like he's starving.
Like nobody gave him
like he didn't have half my sandwich, But yeah, we'll do that. We'll have a telethon for Gene at Big Man Comics. We'll have to get him to shake somehow. He's just shaking in a corner, like living in a dirty cardboard box,
Oh.
For only $9.95 a day.
What a lie that would be. Gene sits on the other antique chair that matches the one you're sitting in.
Yeah, Gene has his own chair exactly like mine. A Queen Anne carved cherry wood chair. He has his own in the living room that he sits on.
Yeah, nobody else sits on that because it's full of hair.
Right. So, but yeah, you guys are the best. You make all this happen. And I want you to keep making it happen. So click on that link right now and go follow me on TikTok. Let's get me in the double digits from TikTok. I think I have 3 followers now. But I've only posted 3 videos. I haven't paid any attention to running my TikTok just yet. It's brand new. I was very resistant to TikTok for a long time, but to me, it's like, this is how it is. And TikTok is amazing for growth and virality, if that's even a word. It is amazing for that. And people say TikTok is evil, Chinese spyware, this, that, and the other. And I believe in what Yoda told Luke. In The Empire Strikes Back, they're in the swamp. And there's the creepy cave where Luke goes in and has like the nightmare vision where he fights Darth Vader. But before he goes into the cave, he asks him, Master Yoda, what's in there? And he says, only what you take with you. And I feel that way about life. Like you could say bad things about TikTok, this, that, the other thing. Well, it's going to be what I make it, my TikTok, right? I don't have to do brain rot. I'm not going to put on booty shorts and start doing dances just because it's TikTok. I'm not going to put on a woman's belt just because it's TikTok. As a kid getting scared. I'd seen those movies like 20, 30 times at this point when I was 8 or 9 years old. I had them on VHS. I just watched them all the time. The original Star Wars. And it's really creepy. Luke has the nightmare where he fights Darth Vader in the cave in the weird thing of the swamp planet Dagobah. And when he chops Darth Vader's head off, the mask explodes, and inside it is Luke's face. And the dream is trying to tell him, like, you are Darth Vader. You're related to him. And then you find out, no, I have no fault. But I saw the movie 30 times and never caught this. And then I caught it one time and I had to rewind it like 5 times because I thought I was hearing things. And it was so scary because Luke asks Yoda, what's in there? Only what you get with you. But when Luke says, what's in there? A voice that's not Yoda or Luke or anyone goes, and it's like all whispery and quiet. And, huh? I heard it for the first time and I rewound the tape like 3 times. Like, oh my gosh, who's saying that? So, yeah, spooky.
Antonius, just along your TikTok, asking everyone to follow you. Antonius is trying to support you. He says, I'll have my lady follow on Tiki Taki. I don't have it, or Twitter.
All right.
Jim Bob says, dude, Basset Hounds are awesome. I used to have 2 of them. I need a Basset Hound back in my life. I think you need to write a book just about Gene.
Gene's great. Gene's great. And Gene wants you to be subscribed to everything and become a channel member and buy all the books. Gene needs it. That's how I get to buy Gene snacks. When you're supporting Big Man Comics, you're supporting Gene and his extravagant Southern California lifestyle.
That's right. So Gene's whole name is Gene Parmesan.
Right. My daughter named him.
And he's named after the PI in Arrested Development.
Rest in peace. The great comedian Martin Mull played the undercover guy, Gene Parmesan.
Right. So Gene's name is Gene Parmesan. And I don't know about other people, but Peter and me mainly, we make voices for Gene.
Oh,
and
the dog's voice.
Yeah,
yes.
We say what he's thinking or what he would say or whatever. Do other
Gene's
people
got
do
a
that?
mouth on it.
Yeah.
Mouthy guy.
Yeah. So sometimes he's a little bit rude.
Rude, true.
Very entitled.
Yes.
But also like Gabe said, he lies a lot and says, I didn't get any food today.
Yeah.
So that you'll feel sorry for him. Do other people do it? Do I just make a voice for the dog?
Yeah, but we do have the decency to not bring our dog out to places where dogs don't belong. Dogs belong at your home or on a leash on the sidewalk, and that's about it. Do not bring your dog to the grocery store or the restaurant. I saw 2 dogs at church, and I just about lost it. What is going on? Stop it.
What about when we went out to eat?
Oh my God.
And there was a family sitting next to us who had a dog and a family leaving with a dog. And the one dog next to us decided to latch onto the back leg of the other dog.
Yeah. So it's like one leg, a little dog is screaming, and the owner of the little dog who's being mauled to death is like, he's attacking my dog. And the lady who had the evil dog just gaslighting. She's like, he didn't bite him. While his teeth are clamped on the leg, she's telling the lady he didn't bite him. Like, wait, I don't know if you know how any of this works, but I can see the dog biting the dog right now. And she's just like, he didn't bite him. He didn't do anything. And he's like, I'm shaking the dog to death. And I just want to scream at both of them, get your fucking dogs out of here. Get your ugly, stupid, smelly dog. Just get it out of here. Oh, jeez.
The dogs just wanted to go out to lunch too. What's the problem?
Yeah, because the dog belongs there.
And then I don't know why I did this, but I chimed in and I said, I can see it biting it right now. I don't ever say anything like that. And I just decided to let the other lady know that I could see it.
See your stupid dog biting this dog. Don't bring your dogs out in public, people. Love your dog at your damn house. Jeez. You're the same assholes that bring their dogs everywhere don't want kids on planes or movie theaters.
Right.
Fuck off forever.
I do find that interesting. The attitude, the bad attitude towards little children. But then if you want everybody to feel sorry for something or someone, talk about someone being mean to a dog or a cat. Well, and then their hearts just melt. And how could you? They're so innocent and they can't do anything. It's like, that's the same description for children.
Well, not even. Children are much more precious than an animal. But I get what you're saying. No, to me, that's always going to tell for a complete sociopath Because people say, I like animals more than people. Like, you're just a selfish asshole. You don't care about anyone. And the reason anyone would favor animal relationships over human relationships is quite simple. Animal relationships are completely selfish. I have my relationship with my dog at my pleasure, the way I want, when I want. I'm not beholden to my dog for anything. Oh, hey man, I can't come to your birthday. My dog said he really wants to spend time with me. Like, that's not, I can't buy that new motorcycle. My dog says we need to save. Like, no, you just have your way with your animals. And that's why super selfish people, they love to have animal relationships and then say people are stupid. It's like, well, I'd say you're stupid. Like when you have human relationships, there's a lot of give and take and a lot of give, and that's as it should be. But yeah, as soon as someone tells me they like animals more than people, that's a complete tell that they need to really reconsider things, because that's an asshole opinion to have.
Yeah, Antonia said, hated when people bring in their non-service dogs into restaurant. Only 2 questions I think employees are allowed to ask is that a service dog, and what service do they provide? I thought I had heard that like you weren't even allowed to ask, which is what kind
You're
of
not allowed to ask. We have free fucking speech in this country.
Well, it's like the Disabilities Act or something like that. But I think that's what spurred like the uptick in animals being taken into restaurants and stores and all that, is that.
Yeah, then people will have some doctor write them a note, that's dubious in its legitimacy about how they have something where they need an animal. There are people that 100% need the animal, but I think there's a lot of people just taking advantage of that because they're a weird narcissist.
And I agree. There are some people that need those dogs, and those dogs are so well trained. And I know that they're super helpful to people where they're like sensing when people are going to have a stroke or like an epilepsy attack or something. And I just think that's like amazing that an animal can.
You know what we need though? Okay, the dogs are brilliant. They can smell cancer.
Right.
They can tell when someone's going to have a stroke or whatever, faint, fall over. This is all amazing. They can sniff out drugs. We need dogs that can help you socially. Like you're about to say something, put your foot in your mouth. The dog's like, boom, 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 boom. Dog kicks you under the table. Don't say that. He doesn't like talking about it. That's what we need too. We need dogs that are like, no, don't bring up her ex. That's what we need. It's like a wingman. Right. It's not a service dog, it's a wingman dog.
I do think dogs are wingmen though, because
I'm saying wingman socially.
Well, I think they help guys get girls for sure. Remember when Gene was a puppy, Peter was taking him to the beach.
It's 1 a.m. and you're like hitting on the unfortunate looking woman, the dog will just like, no, dude, we gotta go. Come on. I'll leave you out of the
That's something you don't want to do. You'll regret it in the morning.
Right. Yeah. Right. We need dogs like that. It's a service I'm going to start. It's called that'smydog.com. And then every time the dog helps you, that's my dog.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Now we had a great night. Let me ask you, Adrian, what did you think of the movie premiere? Now that's the 3rd movie premiere I've taken you to. Of all the movie premieres I've taken you to, that was the 3rd one.
Yes. Of all the ones you've taken me to, that was the 3rd one.
And 2 out of 3, I've forgotten some article of clothing.
Yeah, we'll get it right.
We got it right the first time.
We got it right the first time. Then we went.
I had the whole outfit.
Then we took a dive after that.
Yeah.
And last night we got better with just missing a belt. However, strangely, we were in like a little bit of a shopping area. Yeah. Shopping. And not one men's store in sight. We had to drive like 5 miles away. Yeah. Kind of weird. I had a great time last night. I thought the movie was very good. I am not into rom-coms or like those, what are they called? The ones at Christmas, those feel good.
Oh, the Hallmark
Yeah,
ones?
The Hallmark movies. Those are not my cup of tea. But this, I was fully entertained, and it was not like that. it was a good movie. I was expecting it to be a kids movie, and it's kind of like Dean Cain All-American Lawman. A 7-year-old could watch it, or a 70-year-old could watch it, and everyone in between would be entertained.
Yeah.
So I really liked it. I thought that his writing was really good. I know he's written other things before, but I've never seen Lois and Clark, so I can't speak to any of that. But it was a good movie. So I really enjoyed it. And I thought it was really cool that we got to talk to him a little bit beforehand. And then the red carpet thing I thought was hilarious.
Now, why did you think the red carpet was hilarious?
I told you last night I felt like an imposter.
Yeah, on the invite, Dean had his people send me an email to RSVP to the event, and it's like your name, your +1, and then it says, "Will you be walking the red carpet?" You can check yes or no, and then if you check yes, it's like, "What is your relation to the talent?" So I just wrote friend and business partner because we're business partners on Dean Cain All-American Lawman. So there you go.
Yeah, so that was really cool. But I don't practice taking pictures, so I feel like I always come out awkward in the pictures.
Show them the red carpet again for people who just came in late. You can show them that on.
Okay, hold on. No, I didn't, but let me get back to the picture. Hold on.
Okay. Yeah, because some people didn't see it when we showed it before, but it was a fun time. Really fun. So, and it opens Friday, June 6th, nationwide. If you support me and Dean and what we're doing, first of all, trying to entertain you. Second of all, give an alternative in the culture of things that are not brain rots and degenerate, things that are actually really fun and uplifting and just give you a great time at the movies. What we need,
right?
Then go see it and get your friends to see it, and they'll like it. Dean's a funny guy. He's good in this, and
it was really good, and he looked really good. Yeah, he was looking really good. Antonios, I think this is funny. Antonios says, next premiere, Gabe's going to forget his pocket watch.
Oh. Maybe I should get a pocket watch. We walked by that Rolex store yesterday, and there was that armed guy with
right.
Tactical vest. Wow. He was just hoping something would go down.
He was ready for war.
Yeah, that guy was. He had like the green kind of like army color. It's not quite olive, but it was like. But he had like the bulletproof, like the tactical vest.
He
put
did.
Magazines in, and he had a big old gun on his hip, and just standing in front of the Rolex store, like, all right, I guess nobody's stealing a watch today.
Not today.
He says, not on my watch, because it's a watch store,
Right. Okay, that was a double impact, or not a double impact. Steven Seagal line.
I'm gonna take you to the bank, Senator. The blood bank. I love that he's getting in the senator's face and telling him off, but he's just watching the senator give a speech on TV.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, when he says, "I'm gonna take you to the bank, Senator." The blood bank. And then he turns the TV off. The senator didn't hear you, Mr. Seagal. That's in the movie Hard to Kill.
That's one of those lines where you thought of it later in the shower.
Right. Yeah.
Jim Bob says, I was a previs animator for a movie called Red Tails once upon a time. And
Red Tails is one of George Lucas's final, I think it was his final directorial thing.
Oh, and he says, oh, and I missed our crew screening due to crazy LA traffic. I was so disappointed.
Was that George Lucas's movie of the black the army pilots, right? The black guys that were all pilots in World War II. Is that what that was? The Korean War, World War II? I believe that was George Lucas's final movie he directed. Red Tails.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it didn't do good at the box office. I don't know if it's a good or a bad movie. I suspect it's a good movie. It's George Lucas. He kind of figured out how to make good movies. You ever hear of Indiana Jones or Star Wars? He's pretty good at the movies, this Lucas kid. I think he's got a future. So I imagine Red Tails is good.
So Jim Bob said yes, but I'm not sure to which one. And Mr. Reese and Antonia 707 said Tuskegee Airmen.
Oh, Tuskegee.
Oh, well, that's how he spelled it. But Antonia's corrected.
Oh, Tuskegee Airmen.
Jim Bob, though, says, actually, George saved the movie before it was released. I had so much more respect for him at the end.
Okay, cool.
Tuskegee.
Yeah, Tuskegee Airmen. Tuskegee is a place.
Yeah.
It's in the South somewhere. I don't know where. I don't know if it's like Alabama or Mississippi, but I'm pretty sure Tuskegee is a place. It's a state of mind, man. I hate hippies so much.
I feel for Jim Bob. I can't think of an example right now, but I know I've been late to something due to traffic, and I can feel the feeling right now.
Oh, dude, at the end of March, I missed a flight to Mexico City and missed an entire trip and went a month later. My son and I were going on like a 36-hour trip to Mexico City to watch the UFC fight and go to the pyramids. We got to the airport like an hour and 20 minutes early. The Tijuana airport, it's on the border of San Diego because it's cheaper to fly from Tijuana to Mexico than from San Diego to Mexico. And it's only 10 miles away, the Mexican airport. And the day we were flying out was a Friday morning. I think the day everybody at the local universities was going on spring break. So the line from crossing, because when you cross the bridge into Tijuana to then go into the airport, they built a bridge specifically to use their airport for Americans. Mm-hmm. You have to go through customs and like show your passport to the Mexicans and get into their country. And my son had already used it twice to go down to Mexico with some friends and stuff. So he told me, we need maybe an hour. We get there, there's 400 people with UCSD and SDSU sweaters on. And it's like, oh my God, today's the day of spring break starting. So we didn't make our flight by 3 minutes. And to my son's credit and mine, just laughed it off. Like, hey, whatever, we'll reschedule for the whole thing. And we, took the $1,000. I think it was like $1,200. We took the loss. Like, okay. Told my son try and get a little bit of a refund. I think he called Expedia. I don't know if they gave him a penny back or not, but we ended up going to Mexico about 4 weeks later, and it was so much better to take the wife and the daughter and the grandbaby anywhere. So. You
guys had a good attitude about it. I was so sad for you guys. I would have been so upset.
God's plan, whatever. I wasn't supposed to go. I don't know why, but I wasn't. And we wouldn't have taken the whole family. And it might have been years before we took the whole family.
Yeah. So I'm glad we went. But
it's way better to take everyone. So, but yeah, showing up late like that. So I can only imagine your movie premiere missing it. That just sucks, dude. That's freaking LA, though, right? I hate LA so much. And that's the only reason I hate LA. Because LA is a joke. LA should be the greatest city in the world. It's got good weather. It doesn't have San Diego weather, but it has pretty good weather. It has everything you want around it. There's desert, there's mountains, you can go skiing like an hour away, you can go surfing on this side. And it's a hellhole of crime and filth. LA is so dirty. Just dirty. You drive when you're in Orange County, one of the richest, most Republican-like counties in America, at least for California standards, beautiful, clean, smooth highways, not a bit of trash, shrubbery and greenery, manicured perfectly. And when you cross from Orange County into LA, when you hit the city
into LA County, yeah,
it's like someone dumped mattresses and trash everywhere and just graffitied everything. The freeway shrinks.
Yeah, it does.
It goes from like 8 lanes down to like 4, so then the traffic goes crazy. And there's just LA, like if you just rub your fingers on LA, your hand would be black when you look at it. It's just filthy LA. And it should be a wonderland. It's so, and that's what pisses me off the most about LA is it should be something, and it's not even close to what it should be. It's just a mess. It's a complete failure of leadership. I mean, look at the fires.
Oh, God.
If the fires don't sum up how LA works, nothing does.
Mr. Reese says, I hate LA as well, and I've only been there twice. Jim Bob says, before I left LA, I was commuting from Pasadena to Long Beach. That is a long
Do you hate
commute.
yourself? I wouldn't go from Pasadena to Arcadia. And that's like, mile. I wouldn't live in LA. You quite literally, and people say things as the same. You couldn't pay me to live in LA because Warner Brothers tried. See, DC Comics Studio was in San Diego for 20 years, Jim Lee's Wildstorm. And then when they started their big push on movies and TV in 2010, 2011, they offered us, I was at the studio here from the January of 2008, and I was going to just stay there working there. And they closed the San Diego studio, and everything moved to Burbank. Even New York City, DC Comics moved to Burbank. Burbank is Hollywood. Let's just say that. It's not, but it is. They offered us jobs there. They're like, you don't have to, we don't have to lay you off. You can go freelance. We'll lay you off, give you like a little bonus payment, for time served. They paid you a certain amount of money for the amount of years you worked there. I was 1 week shy of 3 years, and they paid me for 2 years. Really? Can you just pay me for 3 years? I'm a week short of it. Holy shit. Whatever. I landed on my feet, it turns out. But they offered me a job up there. They offered everyone jobs up there, and I said, no. I say thee nay. I say thee nay. You could not pay me to live in LA or anywhere like near it. No, thank you. So.
Real quick before we leave, Jim Bob, to add to that story, says, dude, it was rough. Rough. I was driving a Fiat 500 at the time as well.
So feel real macho.
Antonia says, still prefer North Bay. It's home. And Mr. Reese says, I've been to San Diego once and it was way better than LA. So besides it being just visually better than LA, the weather is way better than LA.
We have the best weather in the
LA
world.
is hot.
We have the best weather in the world. No, there's no argument. You can't find a place that has nicer weather than San Diego. It is consistently here 65 to 75 degrees year round. Year round, that's the temperature here. You will get a hot week at the end of August or September, and it'll reach a scorching 83,
Right.
85, maybe on the worst. And we live on the ocean. It's not humid.
Right.
Figure that one out. And that's how most of Southern California is. Because you would think, oh, you're living by the water, it's humid. Like, no, you're thinking of Florida. You're thinking of Alabama. It is not humid here. You know what it feels like quite literally when you're just walking around San Diego, the skies are blue, and it feels like you're walking around in perfect air conditioning. It really does. Except it's fresh air instead of that recycled air conditioning.
Right. Diane says, just saw your red carpet photo. It's Diane Francis. You look amazing. What was it for? So she wasn't here earlier.
Oh, Diane, we had the privilege and the pleasure to go up to LA to Dean Cain's new movie, Little Angels. And we went to the premiere. It was great. He had us there, and he was gracious, and very proud of him. This has been years in the making that he's struggled to get this thing out there. Opens in theaters this Friday nationwide, so go check it out. It's an awesome movie. Fun, entertaining, engaging. Dean wrote, directed, and starred in this.
Yeah.
So you'll like it. It's not just for little kids; it's for families. Anyone would like it. It's just a good movie. So.
And also, Jim Bob wasn't here earlier. He must not have been here earlier, or he's joking because he says, "Hey, nice suit."
Oh yeah. For those of you that don't know, really quick, I went to a premiere a year ago. Matthew Marsden had a premiere also up in LA. Bought a suit here, left it here, got to LA and didn't even realize it. Had to buy a suit an hour before the movie at the Men's Warehouse. Thank God they had the exact size for me with tailored pants and everything. And it's a $600 mistake, and it's the same suit I wore last night. So yeah, because I had a suit tailored in San Diego and didn't bring it to Matthew's movie last year. So
yeah, so 2 suits in 1 week.
There you go.
And you still haven't worn the suit you had specifically tailored for you.
Right. I should wear that sometime. I should bust that out.
Yeah, you could wear it on your show tomorrow.
Okay, guys. Will you put in the chat the TikTok thing one more time?
Yes.
Guys, I just made a TikTok channel the other day. I think I have less than 10 followers. Let's get a bunch of followers there. I promise you I won't be posting garbage brain rot. I won't be posting just like, booty shake dances or just whatever. I'm going to post fun, engaging things, a lot of stuff about my comics, what I'm doing here, how we aim to entertain your faces off, with just the best entertainment we can do. And, and just have a great time. Make sure you're subscribed to this channel. Everyone hit the like on this right now. Hit the like on this video and share it out. We got to grow this channel. YouTube fights you a little bit when you do live streams. They don't like it. They like recorded material because they want to put a lot of ads in it. I say to YouTube, put the ads on the replays of this where people watch replays later and promote the replay YouTube, and then we can sell ads on that. I want to do lives because I want to connect with you guys. You're my friends, and I want to talk to you, and I want you to talk to me. So, but I need your help. You got to be sub, and you got to get people to sub. Because when you do live, sometimes YouTube will shave off like 1 or 2 followers. You know, I'll have like 9,285 followers. And then after the show, like in a few hours, I'll have 83 followers. Like they'll knock 1 or 2 off sometimes. And it sucks. And they do it to everyone. They're not picking on me, but it is a thing they do. You know, I think they go through my list of followers. I think they find people who haven't watched you in a while or something like that. And they unsubscribe them and they don't even tell the person they unsubscribed them. So I need your help to fight that every day. We need your friends, your family, new people to sub and come around here. And we just have a great time. You guys, you know when you come in here, you can be yourselves, you can talk honestly with me, and I'm always honest with you. And we entertain, we have a blast. So join me tonight, Jericho Green and I, 7 p.m. Pacific on this very channel, live. No movie tonight, just talking some really fun stuff. I'm going to do like a Daditude show. That was a concept Jericho and I came up with. Just about being man and fathers. We still talk about pop culture and entertainment. We talk about being dads and businessmen and husbands and all that. But it's always the same zany, crazy fun that Jericho and I have. So join us tonight on a very special double package. All right. Anything else?
No, thank you.
All right. Talk to you guys later.
Bye.
Like and share.